All right, welcome to the art of selling art. I'm just getting this thing spun up, and let me just post this here. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm definitely following along over there as well. So definitely leave your questions on the live, and I'm going to pop into answer those as well. And then for those of you on Facebook, of course, let's get rocking because I have a lot to share in terms of lead magnets. I have a little bit of notes to follow, but if you know me, you know that I am going to go off script. And as far as I'm concerned, that's okay. So let's just share. Like when I come on Coaching Over Coffee, if you haven't been here, and I know I haven't been on live in a while. I just did a ton of traveling. I was in Mexico for like 2 weeks, and then I was in Miami for 2 weeks, and so a whole month I was gone. But we're definitely here to rock it. So let's dive in to lead magnets, right? So we got Kayla here, who I'm excited to introduce you guys to sometime soon in the future. And then we have a few other people, looks like they're popping in. And we're going to talk about lead magnets. So if you're here on the replay, then definitely stick with the video or maybe skip ahead 30, 40 seconds to when I get started and get into the meat of this, because this is a question, or this is an answer to a question that I have received from a lot of artists. And the question is, how do I grow my email list? Now, if you've tried to grow your email list, I would love to hear what efforts you've put in so far. Okay. And again, if you're on the replay, leave that question in the comments, or leave that answer in the comments, and we'll circle back. But if you have tried to grow your email list, how have you done it in the past? Right. And actually, I'm going to talk about a few people's websites today too. So if you want to drop your website and get a little feedback on it from there, in terms of generating lead magnets or generating leads, then do that as well, because we're going to open a few eyes to some really bad practices that I've seen done by a majority of artists. And even though these practices don't work, we still end up doing them. And I don't understand why. Right, Coaching Over Coffee training docs. Share this. Okay. All right, so checking in on Facebook over here. It's my first live in a while, so I'm gonna give it about 1 more minute while I check in on everything and go into, and then dive into this. Hey, Kayla, since you're tied into my YouTube, can you see if I'm live? I haven't, oh yeah, I am. There we go. Boom. Oh, definitely close. Kayla says her website is great for bad practices. Okay, we'll start with that. All right. All right. So why lead magnets? All right. So if you've ever been on a Coaching Over Coffee, you know that we have about a half hour or 25 minutes to chat right now about whatever it is we're talking about. And there's always more to learn. So if you're in TASA, these are some places to check out a little bit more on this topic, right? The Social Media Ad Strategy Guide. This is going to help you run social media ads on Meta specifically, but the strategy applies to everything. The custom avatar, because you can't run an ad to people if you don't know who you're running ads to specifically. And then how to sell online. Okay, the ABCs of sales. There's also the Art Sales Masterclass. There's also the social media explained, which goes over social selling. Right, these are all of these first 5 are all in the members area. So definitely, if you're a member, you should be checking that out after you watch this. And then also the Marketing Mastery Workshop. This is available for everyone. So if you want this, leave me a comment saying, hey, I want the Marketing Mastery Workshop. And it's going to expand on some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today, especially nurturing our clients. And the reason I decided to talk about lead magnets today is because for the members group, for the members in TASA, I created a whole lead magnet funnel that we're turning into an education platform. And this lead magnet funnel, which is going to go into this roadmap right here, everything from creating the lead magnet all the way to selling to your leads, is what has gotten me all of these leads and all of these sales, right? So the average close rate on a sale, on a high ticket sale, is 1.7%. And right now, my average close rate on this is something like 3% on this lead magnet. And it's because of what I'm going to tell you about creating effective lead magnets today. So we're going to go over effective lead magnets and less effective lead magnets, and we're going to use some of your work as examples. Oh, you couldn't see these leads that I pulled up because I'm only sharing this tab. I'll pull it up for you in a hot minute. Let me see if I can change this setting to share the whole window instead of just the tab. Present, share screen, Chrome tab, Chrome window. Here we go. So when I was talking about leads, I'm talking about this is my lead generation just from one of my lead magnets. Right, I have 3 lead magnets floating out there, but this art quiz is the most effective one, and that's what I'm building a thorough roadmap for TASA members. But before you can really jump into the lead magnet funnel, we have to understand what lead magnets are, and most of you are doing it wrong. Okay, so let's go back. Let me see where we're at here. All right, what's up, Tracy? It's been a long time since I've been on here. All right. So lead magnets basically do this, right? You have your lead magnet, whatever it is, and what it is meant to do is it's meant to pull out of the audience that you are sharing your art with and find the people who are problem aware and who are ready to buy. So if you've been to the Marketing Mastery Workshop, you might be familiar, or you should be familiar with this little graph that I drew for everyone, where most of your customers, the people who are in your target market, right, your avatar, most of them, 60% of them, are not problem aware. That means that they don't know, or they're not noticing their empty walls, they're not ready to buy, but they're psychologically and economically poised to be primed to buy your work. And then you have problem aware, information gathering, and buy now people. And your lead magnet is going to jump right in here at problem aware, and it's going to tell people that how they can solve their problems. Right now, you're either going to find people who are problem aware right here and have to nurture them, or you're going to get people who are ready to buy now. Now, if your lead magnet is only targeted at buy now people, you're going to get less sales. So the whole point of a lead magnet is to nurture people through this process, through that funnel of cold lead to warm buyer, right? 81% of buyers do online research before they make a purchase. If you've been to any of my workshops in the past, you should remember that 80% of buyers feel that they know the person they're buying art from, right? 80% of buyers bought from an artist they felt they knew. This is so important. And your job on social media and your job through other media forms like email and PR is to get people to get to know you, or to feel like they've gotten to know you. And that's what your lead magnet is for. It's to get people into a process, into a system where you will systematically introduce yourself, your art, your brand, your philosophy, your ideals, your qualities, so that they can make a buying decision and feel good about it. All right. So your lead magnet, a lead magnet, is a free, valuable resource offered in exchange for potential buyers' contact information. And I'm going to make this big. All right. A lead magnet is a free, valuable resource, valuable resource, right? This is super important, guys, because Kayla offered up her info. So let's look at Kayla's website really quick. Let's see if this opens in the right place. It did not. Because 90% of people who are putting up, this is our storefronts. So 90% of you, like there's so many artists in this program who are here because Art Storefronts isn't serving them, and Art Storefronts is doing this exact thing. Like, why would you offer a discount to somebody who doesn't know you to someone who spent no time getting to know your art or understanding who you are first, and then you're just going to give away 20% of your profits. If you give away 20% of your revenue from your art, right? For most of us, especially if you're a photographer like me, it probably costs you 20 to 30% just to produce the piece of art, right? For a painter or other media, you have costs, including your time, that you can quantify in the price of your art, and you're giving all that away. Another 20% of your price of your sale is going to go to taxes at the end of the year. So now you're down 60% of your potential revenue, giving it to someone who doesn't even know you. And more than that, you have the opportunity cost of not getting this person's information because you're offering them something that doesn't have any value, right? 20% off on your first order. Enter your email below. The worst thing about this offer right now is that there's no time limit. This is a 20% coupon that they could use whenever they want, right? So let's say that you get their email and then you nurture them, and then you spend all this work and effort getting this person to understand and get to know you. And then all of a sudden, they want to use this coupon, and all of your effort and all the time you put in just evaporated, right? That's the discount, the offer that I see on 99% of artist websites, is a discount to someone who doesn't know you. And if they're ready to buy right now, if they're one of these people, the top 3% of the people in your funnel, in your target audience, chances are they already are looking at certain artists. So your discount's falling on deaf ears because they haven't been nurtured yet, right? So instead of giving a discount, let's all just, there's 9 of you here on Facebook. I don't know how many are on YouTube right now. Let's just collectively decide to no longer give away free stuff, to no longer give away money, right? That's what you're doing when you're giving away a 20% discount, is you're giving away 20% of your income. Instead, we can offer them something valuable, right? And here's some examples. An art quiz, right? An art quiz is the tutorial that I'm doing next, right? This is the guide that I'm creating for the artist in the members group. And it's one of the most effective lead magnets I've ever created, because it creates a high intent, or it captures a high intent individual who's looking to buy, right? A free downloadable wallpaper. This was my first lead magnet, and it was cool. But back in the day, I didn't know how to nurture people, so I didn't really take the most advantage of this downloadable wallpaper thing. And nowadays, the way people behave on their computers and their phones, the wallpapers, especially on mobile devices, isn't as important as maybe on a desktop. So there's not a lot of value there. Free print of their art. I don't know, I put this on here because it's valid as a lead magnet. Maybe you could use this as a lead magnet at an actual show where you have stuff to give away. But then I came up with this idea while I was going over my notes, a print it yourself piece. And this idea kind of came because of my experience in the NFT space, where people want to print the art that they buy, right? They feel like they own the rights to the art. Like when you selling NFT, you're not giving anyone rights to print your work. That doesn't automatic, but you can if you want. And what I've noticed is that there's a value add for people buying the digital artworks, that they feel like they can print it. You openly give them rights to produce a piece of art for themselves. So one piece of art, not for commercial use, not for reproduction, not for giving away. They have the rights to print one piece. And 99,999 out of 1 million never print it. They never go through the effort to do it. They don't know how to print their art. So it's interesting idea to give them this offer and this high-res file to produce the artwork, and then they don't have the expertise or the skill to do it, so they have to come back to you anyway. So just an idea that came out of my head while I was doing this. A PDF guide, how to choose art for your home. One of my lead magnets is a lead magnet on how to do interior design for yourself. So this is actually a really effective idea, and it's definitely brought me in a few dozen leads over the last year. All right, invitation to exclusive video tours or virtual tours of your work, exclusive events, Facebook groups that are specific for your art collectors. This is another lead magnet that actually really works. So I'm going to add to this invitation spelling. Okay, this works really well. And I have a whole group funnel where I created 160 new email leads in like 2 weeks by creating a Facebook group and then using that group to generate emails and phone numbers, as well as qualify customers, right? Kayla says, ill told me. That storefront is awful. Yeah, it definitely is. So, all right. So why lead magnets are crucial for artists. I put my speaking time in here. It builds your email list, right? This is the number one, because you need to be able to get people off of social media platforms, or they will not, or you're just subject to lose them all, right? I've spoken to so many artists who get kicked out of Facebook, or who get their X account closed, or their Instagram account gets nuked, and then they lose all of their clients. But if you're actively building your email list and phone list, then you don't lose those people, because you own those contacts. They're on a spreadsheet somewhere you own, they're on an email CRM. Super important, right? This is number one, right? Email marketing has a higher ROI than social media. This is statistically true. Like, you should be able to make $1 off each person in your mailing list per month, right? That's the statistic for most retail companies. So if you have an email list of 20,000 people, you should be able to make $20,000 a month off of it, ideally. Okay. You can make zero off of it if you don't have an email list. So definitely having an email list gives you the opportunity to create a higher ROI. Like, let's look at this as an example. Email open rate is 30%. So if I want to send you something, anything, right? Open rate, I don't know why this is on caps. Open rate is 30% for emails, right? Open rate on social media, we'll just call it open rate on socials, is 3%. Like, if you're getting a consistent 3% engagement on social media, you're doing pretty good. Okay, so if you have 100,000 people, you can get to 3,000 of them with each post. If you had 100,000 emails, you could get to 30,000 people per email. And that's huge. All right. And then I have phone on here, because your lead magnet should also get people's phone numbers. And phone number marketing rate is 95% open rate, right? How many people watching this get texts from me every now and again? You see those texts whether you engage with them or not. Whereas emails, you're down to 30% open rate. Okay, so the other thing here is you're creating a connection with people. A lead magnet initiates a relationship, and it initiates a way for people to connect with you. For instance, how many people downloaded my ebook that I gave out the other day, right? If you didn't get it, you can leave a comment in the chat below. I put out an ebook on 11 marketing strategies broken down in terms for artists. Okay, that's a lead magnet, and it creates value, it creates a connection between you and the person who downloads your lead magnet, which is the first step in creating a relationship. It's a value first, it's free. People are going to pay you for whatever you're offering with their email address. That's what you're doing with a lead magnet. Up here it says free, but really they're paying for it with their email and their phone number. So whatever you're giving them has to have enough value so that they want to give you their email and phone number. A 20% off discount from somebody who hasn't really had a chance to dive into your world, there's nothing there for them to give you their email for. How many times do you go to a retail site and then you see what they are, you get a 10% offer and you're like, no, I don't want to get your emails for your 10% off. It's not worth it, right? It doesn't deliver any value yet. So instead, your top of funnel should be one of these lead magnets, and you should, and you're charging their email and phone number for the offer, right? Demonstrates professionalism. One of the 7 principles of marketing. Let me add this to the stuff that you should be learning. We'll call this the 7 principles of marketing, right? Specifically, authority. Right? One of the 7 principles of marketing is authority, and you demonstrate your authority over your art and in your little corner of the internet by being a professional and creating stuff for your brand, right? And then it gives you the opportunity to nurture over time. So just creating the lead magnet is not enough. You need to be able to have a system for reaching out to people after they have it, right? For instance, when someone gets my lead magnet, they get 5 emails afterward. They get 5 emails before they're put into my regular email list. So they get a thank you email that has a video in it. Then they get 4 introduction emails about me and my art, right? And most people are opening most of those. So it's super important to have an opportunity to create an opportunity to nurture people so they get to know you, so that you can create know, like, trust, so they can buy, right? Collectors often take months or years before buying a piece of art. Depending on your price point, depending on your level of sophistication, and depending on who your target audience is, I know that my target audience takes about 60 to 90 days to buy a piece of art. So here's my leads, right? I have it hidden their names because you don't need to know their names or their emails, but these are my leads. So I created with this test about 100 leads, right? I got 2 sales off this. So I got like 10,000 in sales off of this so far. But all of these yellows, these are all leads that I have to nurture, right? Even the ones that have no color, those are also leads but they're less warm. Like, these people are going to take more time. But then I have all these leads and I have these notes, like they want something after the holidays. This one's grandma just died, so I got to wait a month and reach out to them again. This person they want Tree of Fire, but they're going to wait till after they move because of my price point, so on and so forth. So I got, I think it's like 9,000 in sales directly from this. So that was the buy now people that I was able to capture. Everyone else, this is going to be sales from my pipeline going forward. And it's super important to have a system in which you're going to nurture these people so that you don't lose them and so they feel more comfortable making purchases, right? The other thing is you can qualify your audience, especially if you use my lead magnet that I'm creating the tutorial for, the art quiz lead magnet. I get right on there as an answer how much money they want to spend. Like, how awesome is that? Like, people are like, yeah, I have a $10,000 budget. I have a $5,000 budget. Okay, let's fucking talk, right? Let's talk. Let's get you this piece of art. We'll get this money in the bank, right? As opposed to not knowing whether they're qualified or not. But not only just in terms of budget, but they went through the act of paying you with their email and phone for this thing that you have, right? That shows higher intent than someone just liking and commenting on your post. So qualifies your audience, and you attract genuinely interested people. So those two are kind of combined. So here's an example. So I met a guy at not an art event. I met a guy at I don't even know what to call it, professional development event. And his name was Rocky. He was interested in me after I spoke about, I introduced myself and my art. And he was going to walk away and go talk to his family about it. And I was like, hey man, how about you just take my art quiz so that I can give you a portfolio of work that specifically calls to your interests. And then he did that. One of the pieces was this one down here. This was the card I sent him, and this is the piece installed in his home. All right, this is actually the mock-up. He's installing it this week. So I was able to give him my lead magnet, and he was able to see how professional, see how much quality that they already have just in the process of filling out my lead magnet, my art quiz. And then we were able to choose a piece of art. It was between this piece and then another one that he found on my website that I didn't actually include in this. And he chose this one. So lead magnets are super powerful. Like, I was able to take his buying journey from 3 to 6 months all the way down to 2 weeks. All right. So if you leave this, if you're watching this right now, so the 7 of you here on Facebook, and then whoever's here on YouTube with us, like, you should walk away from this, hang up this call, and create a lead magnet, like, right now. Right? If you don't know how to do that, we can definitely help you inside of TASA or ask you questions here in the chat section. But what are some lead magnet ideas for you guys who are here right now? Like, aside from the art quiz, aside from giving away a piece of art, like, what else can you offer? What is your art about? Right? If you want to create, like, how do you make a lead magnet? You ask yourself, what is your art about, and what does my audience look for in terms of value? Like, what do they need? What does my art solve? And then you create a lead magnet that solves that problem for them. right? I have this whole training I gave to the artists in the members group called Selling to the Affluent. And it's right here. I'm reorganizing this whole thing. But it's like, here's the problem. Like, you know, here's the people who are interested in art. Here's the people who are money. And here's the people in the middle whose ideas, philosophies, and interests align. And your goal is to figure out, I think I have another chart in here. I didn't review this again before doing, but like, here's a list of my personas of people who are interested in my art. So here's a list of my avatars and what their problems are, right? And then I created this whole list of problems. Now I could create a lead magnet for each one of these problems and then put it out there as an offer to gather people who are interested. So let's say I made a lead magnet, like an ebook that goes over my art fairs and events and has a list of art fairs and events that I'm going to show up to next year. And then I send this out to my email. Let's say, hey, who wants this, right? Or I put it on Facebook and I say, who wants this lead magnet? Who wants this offer? Like, who wants to know when and where I'm going to show up and where to buy tickets and how to get in or whatever. And this is just a little pamphlet. People are going to raise their hand, right? And those people who just raise their hand are higher intent leads. So if I send it to my mailing list and 50 people raise their hand, that just had an opportunity, created an opportunity to have a conversation with those people and find out why they want this. Like, why does this call to them? They're interested in my art for whatever reason. So just one example of how you can create a lead magnet, right? I'm not going to go over the Selling to the Affluent because that's a members program, but just the principle should be enough to move you forward right now, right? So, wow, that was 1:30 on the dot. I'll hang out for another 5-6 minutes and answer anyone's questions about lead magnets. Let me see if I missed anything in here. I didn't do a lot of question asking, so anytime I mention art storefronts, unless you're already drinking the Kool-Aid or just new to the Kool-Aid, everyone's like, I hate it. All right, I know there's like a 30-second delay, so I'm just gonna hang out for a second, see what you guys need. I know we got Maros and Kayla here. They're both TASA members. Tracy's been through some of our program. All right, so recap a little bit. If you want the Marketing Mastery Workshop, just let me know in the comments and I will link you to it. And then for those of you who are members, these are places you definitely want to get more info on. Definitely look a little bit deeper into. So you can ask in the members group for links to these, but they're all on the roadmap. 7 principles of authority, right? Check your email tomorrow or Saturday for this replay link, as well as the document right here. And I will be sending that out as well. And I think we're good to go. Right. And again, if you're watching this in the replay, definitely leave your questions in the comments and I will get back to you. All right. Cheers, everyone. See you next week. Drunk and live.